Hello and welcome to episode 180 of the SideQuest podcast.
Hello.
Hey
I
there.
think we're going to change our name, Briar.
What's that?
How do you think about
Mm.
DCPX?
Oh, I like it.
Ooh,
I do
It's so
like
edgy.
Get the teenagers on board.
Yeah, so 1990s edgy. I'm part of Generation X.
There you go. Works perfectly.
Right? I can't wait. That is the dumbest thing I think I've heard in like 3 days. Since Friday.
Twitter now being just X is like actually happening
It's actually happening. Yeah.
in front of our very eyes.
Twitter has got to be one of the most recognized brands in the world, right?
Oh.
It's got to be.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah,
logo.
You look at when you're on Twitter, right? You've got send a tweet, search tweets, retweet, quote tweet. The bird app, like it is such a recognizable thing that Twitter is tweets and it's a bird thing. What are you gonna call them now? Are you Xting?
Yeah.
Are you sexting?
Yeah,
I'm gonna put out a sext.
That's taken.
That's it. Nah, it's
I'm
wild.
gonna quote sext.
This is what happens when a like crazy billionaire just buys a platform this big. I mean, you can see, right? I mean, it had to only be him. He's like, I don't care. You're doing it. And by the way, we're doing it this weekend because I'm pissed off about threads. It's what it seems like. Like, it was like, it's happening, everybody. And then they're like, start changing logos and they're redirecting the site, even though it's still twitter.com. And then there's like nothing new about it. It's just like, who does that?
It's just removing an incredibly well-known brand recognition that people fight for every day for their company and removing it.
Further piss off your base because it feels like you're not invested at all in this. So like, you're winning no battles with this. Like there was a bunch of people who left for Threads just because they were pissed. They like Twitter as a platform.
Everyone likes Twitter.
But they're like, screw it, I'm out. I can't take it
anymore.
Like Twitter. He's like, well,
I'm
good.
gonna raise my hand. Don't like Twitter. Used to like Twitter.
I like
and
Twitter.
then it just became this like toxic pit that made me feel worse every time I looked at it. So I decided I'm gonna check my DMs every once in a while, and if I got something especially stupid to say, maybe I'll post it up on there, but not look at the replies.
I don't know about you guys. I'm personally really excited to post 10-hour-long X videos.
X video.
Exactly.
That's definitely a porn site, right? X video.
Oh, it is.
It is.
X video is a porn site.
Well-known destination. It's so crazy. Yeah, like the CEO, Linda, had tweeted that. It was like, we're launching X, the destination for videos, audio. I'm like, how can you not see what you're doing?
I've been there before. It's definitely videos.
And it's trending on, I mean, it was trending all weekend. X videos was one of the top trending
Nice.
things. I wonder if they finally suppressed it.
Getting some free advertising from what used to be Twitter. So is Twitter like dead now? Are they just going to be X now? And
so when you look at so you can look at Twitter employees, right? And you can see that they're verified through a company, and it used to be the bird and now it's an X. But everything else on Twitter, it says tweet in big blue letters. So post a tweet. It's search Twitter. Like nothing has changed except for like a logo.
Yeah, that's what I'm really interested to see if anything will change. Because it's like, this is crazy. This is what you do if you're like a 2-person company that's like in a hurry to just get rolling, right?
Yeah.
Not like you said, Watts or Briar, whoever said it's like one of the biggest brands in the world. Like news organizations every day say this was tweeted, even when it wasn't tweeted. They would mix it up with other social They're like, tweet is just become so big. I mean, it's crazy massive, to erase that.
Okay. Could this just be like Elon Musk is just like, you know what? If I say this stupid thing, it's gonna get Twitter back in the news again, and like that's a win. And then I'll just change my mind in a week.
No,
I'll go back to Twitter.
Because it only doesn't it further like concern investors and everybody, like I said, of like it doesn't seem like there's any reason. It's more like insanity. Like even if, in other words, even if traffic to X goes up now for the next like 3 days, like what does that matter? Like,
well, so I don't know if you guys know, but Elon has been trying to make X happen for a long time. He tried to change the name of PayPal to X. He's got SpaceX. He really just wants he names his kid X.
Yeah.
Like he really wants X.
Wait, he
to
named
happen.
his kid X?
Yeah.
He just really
Yeah.
likes that one letter.
Yeah.
Really
He's
wants
the first
to
person to
happen.
think of it.
Yeah.
This is, every time we get a new pet at this house, I always want to go with Bruce because I think it's like the best name for an animal I've ever heard.
Bruce.com is Briar saying he wants Bruce. We're going to be DCP Bruce.
Bruce.com.
But
Bruce Live.
my wife is dead set against it. She hates the name Bruce. Hey, apologies to any Bruce out there. This is not me. This is my hateful wife who doesn't like the name Bruce. So I could, in some ways, I can identify with Elon here. Like, hey, I've been waiting to use this name. I finally have the opportunity. I'm gonna get my X in.
Or hey, what if he's actually smart?
Yeah.
Stay with me.
Mm-hmm.
And he's changing the name to X, so when X files for bankruptcy, Twitter does it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
so the
what
brand still remains and the name's still there, but
I would
definitely
been
gonna title this X Files now.
Yeah, I know. I heard her say that too, Brian. I was like, another one. Perfect.
Another one.
Please have a replacement for Google Drive that's called X Files. That would be so freaking good. I would be so happy.
That is the only thing I will accept with X in its name.
Yeah, that would be pretty good. I'm coming
so
around on this whole X thing.
Yeah, honestly, that's what they should have announced.
The X Files just have like a logo of the flying saucer from the poster.
Yeah.
Did you guys have that poster when you were kids? The I Want to Believe poster?
I didn't, but I
yeah,
was
my
obsessed
brother
with the
did.
show.
On his ceiling, he had a massive one.
Yeah,
he was crazy about X Files, and yeah, the big
does
one
he work
in the
for
middle.
Twitter now? Maybe this is all his fault.
No, he doesn't. It doesn't work for Twitter. It could be. Yeah, that would make sense.
It's just wild, man. I would have been more impressed if it was like a full branded relaunch, right? There's the new app today. It's not only Twitter within it.
Oh,
right?
like if
It's
they put some thought and some work into it before they just like
I don't
out of hairy ass whim, he just like suddenly like, you know what?
I hope that there's got to be more to the real story of like that he's been trying to make this happen for a while and he just got tired of the timeline. Like I've seen this type of behavior in leaders before, and they're like, I don't care, we're doing it this weekend. And like the CEO, right, is now more fully on too. And it's just like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We're doing it. I said we're doing it.
I think you might be right, friend, because before everyone was like, no, this is terrible.
Yeah.
But I don't think, I mean, he fired everyone who told him no at Twitter.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's anyone remaining to tell him no at Twitter. No. So
completely
he can finally make it happen.
Surrounded by sycophants. It's incredible.
Amazing.
It's crazy to boot up today. Like you saw it starting to roll out, and then now, the bird is gone. Everything else says tweet, and it's just this terribly boring X. It looks like an April Fool's.
It looks like
I don't know what's happening.
Like a dead brand sneaker logo, like a British Knights X sneakers. You know,
but there's like no color to it either. Yeah, like
you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of StockX. It reminds me of like some kind of like either shoe trading website or a stock website. That's what it reminds me of. Yeah, that's what StockX is.
Oh, okay.
StockX. They also have an X. You know, all these companies have X's.
Yeah, because they're extreme, just like Twitter.
X.
It's filled with extremists. Maybe that's what the X is for.
Oh,
jeez.
Now it makes sense. I get it.
Right on the nose. On that note.
It even says it says purchase Twitter Blue. Twitter Blue. Is it gonna be X Blue? Is it gonna be X Black?
Oh, I hope it's X Black. What are we gonna call tweets?
Nobody knows.
X out.
I'm not even sure it's thought out. That's the best part about it, right?
Yeah. Remember, it wasn't that long ago where we thought this guy was like the Tony Stark of the real world. It really wasn't that long ago.
It's yeah. I mean, it relatively.
That pot he smoked with Joe Rogan hit hard.
Yeah, it was way before that.
He never came back.
I didn't know much about him until, a little bit about Tesla, and then like the Hyperloop. I was like, oh wow, this is awesome. Like we need somebody like that. And then there wasn't much after that, to be honest. Then it was just more insanity.
All right, how about some video games? What you guys been playing?
Remnant 2.
Comic-Con this
Remnant
weekend, right?
2. Remnant 2.
I haven't
I know
heard of
Watts has
this.
been
Is
upset.
this what's
My
this?
life is gone. It's gone. You don't know Remnant? You don't know Remnant from the Ashes? Oh, Briar's dying.
Yeah, so
Please hold.
what?
That was a cough button. That's how it's
Yeah.
done in the professional
Oh, I
That
podcast.
was
thought he
good.
just
That was
picking up.
fast.
I thought he was picking up a sneaker to
That was
trade.
fast.
Do you have any
Um,
Remnant 2 sneakers? Do you have any Remnant 2 Crocs?
Oh.
Oh, please, let's not
I
get
would
back on
love some
Crocs.
Remnants because
Come
so
on.
Friday is my birthday. So on
Hey,
Saturday,
the early
we're
birthday.
going to this like beautiful
The Croc
lake
store?
nature place.
Oh.
Well, I was thinking I would love to have Crocs to go walking because I'm gonna be
Yeah.
walking a bunch.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Barbie Crocs are really gonna be good long walking shoes.
That's right. They're not good shoes.
No,
That being said,
How
long
dare
one.
you, Fran.
Anyway,
you've
yeah,
been playing early access for
I
Remnant,
have.
right?
Yes.
Is that like $20
So
extra or something?
yeah, Remnant is a $40 game. So it comes out on the 25th tomorrow officially. So you can just pay $40 and play the game then. But they did have an Ultimate Edition, which is more expensive, that got you access on Friday. And dude, the game is totally worth like the price of a full price video game and not $40. Like absolutely. So Remnant, in case no one knows what this game is, it is the easiest way to describe it is people say it's a Souls-like with guns, but there's a lot more going on there. There's a lot of like Resident Evil influence. Like if you when you pick up items and the puzzles are very Resident Evil-y. There's also loot and builds like you could expect in a looter or even something like Diablo. Like it has that addicting, like, oh, I got this thing. This like really changes my build. I want to change my build around this, or I want to boost my build with this. Now I can do this thing. So it's got that really exciting exploration, finding loot, making awesome builds, finding lots of secrets thing going on, but it's got the combat that's similar to like a Souls kind of game.
Actually, real
And
fast on that. I don't
yes.
remember in Remnant 1, how do builds like work? Is it like Destiny that you have those like 8, 9 gear slots, or like
Remnant 2 has just bumped up everything, like from the first one. So in Remnant 2, you can have a main class and then you can also pick a secondary class. So that's a whole thing that's going on. You've got different weapons that you can use, and then you can put mods on those weapons. And these mods are things like it could be something as simple as a little healing pool that you put on the floor, or it can be something like you summon an ethereal spirit from the ground that like curses enemies. It could be big, it could be small.
I like that.
Big, small. And then they also have another thing that they've added, which is new to Remnant 2, which you can add on guns, which is a mutator. And that is like a big buff to something. So for example, I'm using one that increases my crit damage. And then when I, do a certain thing, it increases my crit damage even more. And you can level those up and they get crazy as you level them up. And then another thing that you have is you have rings and necklaces, like accessories. So you have a couple spots for rings. I think it's four or five rings and then a necklace. And those will all have individual stats on it as well that can be really meaningful. And then in your classes, both of classes, you get to choose between two like big abilities. Big impactful abilities. Like I'm playing the hunter, so I get wall hacks. I can just see all the enemies through the walls. There's
cheater?
one that make you invisible. It's really great. In a game like Remnant, where if you get ganged up on, you are dead. So being able to see where things are when you're going into a new area is
Gang.
really helpful. Did you say gangbang?
No.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Gang. Sorry. Everybody's like, oh no, I thought we were over that. That was so
Fran is
last
gonna
week.
do an NPC stream. I can't wait.
Ice cream so good. Sorry.
That's right.
But the enemies might gang up on you. That's where my brain goes that fast.
Gang, gang.
It worked though. Everybody's like thinking about it now. So
Yes.
is the moment to moment like something like Destiny at all? I think you played Outriders. I mean, is it just like a lot of shooting with spongy enemies, or how's it feel?
They're definitely not spongy. Yeah, I wouldn't say they're spongy at all. Like I'm playing the hunter, so if I hit a weak spot and I get a crit, it's like big damage and they'll die pretty fast. But I haven't found anything spongy. It's more so been boss fights at least in Remnant So in Souls, it's like you have this fight with this one enemy that's going to take you a while. They got quite a lot of health, they do a lot of damage. But in Remnant, it's always more so about like, here's this main boss, and then there's a bunch of little dudes that you have to deal with. So there's this flow with Remnant boss battles that are a little different, where you're having to manage a lot of stuff. It's about like managing your flow of combat, knowing when to take pokes at the boss and when you have to deal with the other enemies. So the flow feels quite different to a Souls game with that. But in terms of like running through the game, the cool thing, a really cool thing, is that like dungeons can be random. They're not totally random, like they do curate stuff,
That's
but there
nice.
is some randomness to it. So I can go in a dungeon and I won't have an elevator that goes to this completely different room that has this different item, whereas someone else can have this elevator that leads to a room that's got a weapon in it, and I don't have that. And then when we kill a boss, they can get something totally different to what I get from that boss. So it's actually really cool to play it like watching a stream or streaming it or like alongside your friends if you're not co-oping, because it's like, "Oh, I just finished this map. What did you get from the main boss?" And you both got two completely different things.
Nice.
Also, your starting worlds are different. So when you start up the game, you could be in a Bloodborne-esque village, or you could be in a jungle with like magical monsters. So
Hex
there is a lot
monsters.
of kind of variety, random
Huh.
stuff to it that makes it really exciting.
Yeah, I played Remnant 1 a bit. It was one of those things where like it launched, I'm streaming, I played for like 2 to 4 hours. I was like, this game's cool. And then of course
Mhm.
something else was out at the time, or we were like preparing for a raid in Destiny. I was like, I'll have to come back later. And I never did. So I'm actually really looking forward to checking out Remnant. But as with so many games like this, I really want to play it, but I'm like, man, I feel like I gotta play a game like this for 80 hours to really be satisfied, which probably, I mean, I'm sure I would enjoy it right away, but it's gonna hook you for probably 80 hours, right? Well, it's like at least,
Oh, it's gonna hook. It's so addicting. It is a
yeah.
very, very addicting game. I mean, we had someone in my chat who's like, "I've got 13 hours. I'm nearly at the end." Like they've just been kind of speed running their first
Yeah.
run almost, just hitting
Mm.
up the main bosses, and if they find
I
something,
wish
they'll
I
go
could
and
do that.
explore a little bit. But yeah, like it can be pretty short if you do just mainline it, but
I
when
can
you're
never
running
do
around
that.
the world, like I went into 4 different dungeons. I had this I'll keep this kind of spoilers free as much as possible, but this event happened called a blood moon, and during this event is when you can get a special item that allows you to get something. And
Mm.
that is a random event that happens. So I was like, "Oh, I wanna try and get this event to happen so I can get all these magical special things with the currency." So the game definitely this is probably one of the best games for respecting your playtime, because every time you explore, every time you take your time to fully comb over an area, you get so rewarded for doing that. There's
Hmm.
always something cool and meaningful at the end of the exploration.
In the
Hmm.
first game, it just felt good too, right? It just had that like
Yeah.
that good shooting kind of mechanic feel that just made it kind of fun to keep on pressing, and
Yeah.
kind of. I haven't played the second one yet, but I was wondering what the multiplayer was like because I really got some enjoyment out of the multiplayer in the first one.
Yeah. Co-op's good.
Yeah, can you just
I
jump in,
co-oped
or do you have to
you
like start
can.
together?
No, you can just jump in. So I jumped in with Mylan yesterday. He started yesterday, so I jumped in for a little bit, and I wasn't able to play for super long. But the way that it works is I jumped in with my character. It will either upscale or descale you, depending on who is the like owner of the world. So I'm joining Myling, so I'm getting downscaled a little bit. Um, and you can just jump in. The fights will scale to 2 people now, so all of the enemies are scaled to 2 people, and then I can just hop out, and he gets to continue playing solo in his world. So I get to leave and take all of my stuff that I got,
That's perfect.
upgrade points I got, the loot, everything, and he gets to continue in playing in his world and doing his thing. So it's really cool actually, because if you are wanting to explore everything, you are probably gonna spend a lot of time in the game, and you might not be able to co-op for I don't know, 30 hours all the time. So it's nice that you can hop in and out with your friends to do stuff. And it's really smooth.
How's the story?
Really,
Does
really
it kind
smooth.
of like pick up where the first one left off? Does it start from a new point? Is it easy to get into if you haven't played the first one?
I don't know what's called.
Don't know what's going on. Okay.
I have an idea. I was following for a while in the first world. I was like reading everything and I was really getting it. And I was like, okay. But then, yeah, there's definitely some sci-fi out there. What's a do's going on? So
Yeah.
it's just like,
The first one was kind of like that too, where it was kind of like
yeah,
sci-fi, and it started off kind of like a little mysterious, and it went very like Dark Souls in the way that you have to be like reading like everything to kind of know what's going on. And even it really helped me to watch YouTube videos about the lore so people would explain it to me a little bit because it was interesting.
yeah, I might do that. It is interesting. I have found myself like, I found some books in the world and I want to read all of them because I am intrigued. It tells me about the enemies of that world or the people that you find. Because the thing that Remnant does in that's really cool is you will find NPCs to talk to in the world, and they're always really interesting or they do something interesting. So I found this one character that I like to say did a Facebook quiz on me, where they're like, which Ted Lasso character are you?
Which
That's
Ted
kind
Lasso
of what she
character are
did
you?
to me. I don't know. I don't know who I'd be. I don't know.
Hmm.
I'm gonna have to do a quiz. So you do like she's asking you these questions, and they're very like morally complex questions, and how you answer determines what rewards you get from her.
Okay.
So that's really cool, and I want to read about the world to maybe have some more context about like how do I want to answer these questions? Is there kind of a hint of what I could potentially get?
Yeah.
So yeah, it definitely incentivizes me to
Is
know
there a
about the
YouTube
world and
video
really
that
think.
tells me what all the answers give me, and then I
There
just select
probably
the
is.
thing I want?
There probably is. But that's the thing, yeah, with the first playthrough of Remnant, it's so nice to just organically play and not be spoiled and not look up anything because it's such a good mysterious discovery game that yeah, it feels good. And fighting feels better than it did before. Graphics have definitely gotten an upgrade. The UI is better. They've really stepped up every part of the game from the first one. It's good.
Good. I can't wait to play it.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
seems
it's
like
just
everybody's liking it.
Yeah. Yeah, really it's popping
yeah.
off much more than the first one did. The first one got good word of mouth, but like I don't know, it just never hit like that critical mass it felt like. But this second
Yeah.
one, people are really jumping on board with.
Yeah, it's getting a lot more attention. I wonder if it's because like there's people who played the first one who really loved it. So then the second one got announced and you already have a bit of a base of hype to kind of
Yeah.
carry it a bit
The
further.
first one wasn't pretty either. Like it wasn't a great looking game. The second one definitely
It looks great.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
the
looks a
second
lot
one.
better. So it's a little easier. Like, it feels more approachable in that way, you know.
Yeah,
It's
it's funny you
hard.
guys mentioned.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it was funny that you said that. I almost had it interjected. I'm like, it goes to show you what marketing budget will do. I mean, I think it's that combination of yeah, it's more
Yeah.
marketable, but it has the base. But it does like marketing budgets are very big on some of these games, and it sometimes you wonder, you're like, man, why didn't they just spend that on the development? Like it needs help, right? But I think this goes to show you how important that is, because yeah, it seems a lot bigger this time around, but
It is.
I
Yeah.
think for a lot of reasons. And yeah, it's quality too. I mean, I think they had the confidence, right, to be able to push it this much. Like this is solid.
Yeah.
Also, my PC performance has been great.
That's
It,
good.
and I don't remember. Yeah, I guess Gearbox published it, huh? I don't remember if they published the first one or not.
I was wondering that. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure it was just
Is that right?
Gunfire Games on the first one.
And that might be why too. I mean, obviously
That could be
Gearbox is
why.
big.
That's a lot more money behind you if that is the difference.
Yeah. I
But
don't
I'm
know.
not sure.
In any event,
I'm not sure on that one.
either way, good news for us. We need more franchises, and
So
even though it is a sequel, like yeah, this feels like sort of the full
yeah,
realization of I think probably what they wanted to do, and so
it
it's
does, and you
exciting.
can definitely just jump into the second as well. You don't even need to play the first. There's really no reason to. I'm sure, like there's characters and stuff that you'll recognize from the first one, but it's not going to be like you have no idea what's going on and you can't play this game unless
You're
you
not
play the
gonna know
first.
either way, so
You're
what's the
not gonna know
difference?
either way. You're not gonna know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't. It's fun. Yeah, character wise, I wouldn't know it. I'm like, I don't know. It's some scary looking dude with a duster and a sombrero and a big gun or something. Like that's as much as I knew about the characters and classes in the first one. But it has a look. It does. But yeah, I couldn't tell you what the classes are or anything like that. So there's a hunter apparently. So
There is a hunter. We could go over that just real quick. There's a handler who you get a dog. They made this
Oh.
character
Can I name
because
it Bruce?
well, this class. I don't know if you can pet them.
X Bruce.
You can pet them.
Bruce. Bruce X.
But they made that character because they obviously a lot of people played solo and people were like, oh, it's kind of rough solo. So they put in, the handler so you can have the dog that will revive you if you go down. It's also got some
Nice.
healing capabilities.
Does it take
They
aggro
also
from bosses too?
it takes aggro. Yep.
Nice.
Yep. And there's also the challenger who is like a melee and close range kind of character. Big armor, sword, shotguns.
That
And he
sounds
also
fun.
has an ability where if he goes down, he can come back. There is the gunslinger, which is you're just quick firing cowboy kind of
Oh, that sounds
class.
cool.
Yep.
Do you kind of walk with a saunter? Do you have a duster?
You have
cowboy cap?
you do. You have a cowboy hat with a bandana around your face.
I like it.
Yeah. And then there's the medic, which they're the medic. They heal things. And then the hunter, which I am, is focused on crit spot, weak spot, big damage, precise shooting, big damage. There are more, but these are the starting classes. But there are classes you can find in the game, one of which I am using.
Nice.
I have friends.
Well, that sounds good. Yeah, it'll be interesting to
Good for
see. It
you.
already had popped off this weekend. Yeah. It already had popped off this weekend, but yeah, like you're saying, it just coming out tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know if
officially
early
launching
morning.
on the 25th. Go check it out. It's
Brandon,
not even a full
still
price
playing
game.
Diablo?
I am a new season
The
launch.
Yeah, how's the
hit.
season
Yeah,
going?
the
Is the
drama.
controversy over, or is it only just beginning?
It's just like in Destiny, it's always just beginning. We're pretty much in that state of being with Diablo. But no, for those who didn't know, they patched Diablo for the season. I don't think we talked about that on the last show, did we? Who's to remember? But yeah, it caused a ton of drama because of course it meant like trying to bring things in line. So they did that. They also had not made some other changes, like making the nightmare dungeons more, to make them easier, which was part of the plan apparently. So basically, just took a bunch of power away from you to help balance stuff out. That's like crit damage and all kinds of other stuff. And then people went back into these nightmare dungeons like, oh, my build sucks now, which it didn't suck, by the way, but you could feel that you got ticked down in these super powerful builds. So everybody, obviously, in these type of games just hates that feeling that they found something really powerful and it got taken away. So all that happened. They had a crazy week of just like everybody was like rioting in the Diablo community. And they did it for the season 1 launch because they wanted to get, that set out like this is how, it's a new reset point. But they came on later in the week for a campfire chat, as they called them, for a live stream to sort of explain and like talk about, oh, by the way, we did plan to change Nightmare Dungeons too. They are way too hard. They're not supposed to be doing what they're doing. Like they're crowd controlling you all the time. You just get frozen nonstop. And we realize these are problems. So we wanted to release that we're making those a bit easier. So they managed to get out on that Friday and it was like, why didn't you release both of those at once? I think just this stuff happens. But anyway, so tons of drama. But by the time the campfire chat came around, like after the kids have their tantrum, like they just run out of sugar and energy after a while and they take the nap and come back to it. And then they're still a little upset, but they're like better. So that's basically what happened.
I was going to ask, was it a situation of you read the notes and everyone's like, ah, and then you get in the game and you're like,
It was, to be fair, it wasn't that. I'm way more resilient. So I know there's some people in Diablo community that are listening. They're like, dude, no, they completely effed us. Like people felt wronged.
Yeah.
But again, like I had a lot to say about it. But the short of it was, yes, they took away power. That never feels good. They admitted the same thing. I think had they made the Nightmare Dungeon adjustments that I'm talking about, you would have gone in and felt like, oh, actually, they balanced out the dungeons. Like it wouldn't have felt nearly as bad as it did letting us test against this, which they basically said Nightmare Dungeons from 70 to 100. They're like, they're not supposed to be that hard. That's on us. Oops. And I'd been struggling to understand them as well because they were like brutal. And I think that's why people felt like they needed these like insanely overpowered builds. So I think had they made all those changes and had this live stream chat ahead of time, which is another thing they admitted, so they could like explain before they just released a bunch of patch notes. So they realized they made like a bunch of mistakes and had a really rough week with it. But I think they won over some of the community again, trying to explain to like the explanation was pretty much right. They want builds to be viable like in any of these games. You don't want it to feel like, well, you're the ninja in Remnant, if you don't play this build, like that's too
Yeah.
bad for you because it's way better than everything else. And like that never feels good when you are trying to build craft yourself, right? It feels like you have to find these loophole builds. And so I think that, yeah, there was a lot of stuff they looked at that just wasn't working that well. And some people really get into that. Like I did. I just built my own class, and it sucks to be like, crap, I should have picked the tornado werewolf, and I didn't. So I feel like,
Right.
now I got to switch everything to that. And so anyway, they wanted to bring all that in line. So that was the one side of it. And I think as players now have gotten into the new season, which is free as a reminder, the premium battle pass is all vanity items. So yeah, it's a free season. You go in, you get these new malignant hearts that are effectively gems, and they come with new powers. And yeah, now people are starting to discover there's some actual like powerful stuff happening with these as they got to grind all the way back from 0 up to 50 to 80 to whatever to feel this power again. And so
Right.
that's starting to happen. So what I would say about the season is it's cool. I don't like resetting to 0.
Yeah.
I already earned the ability points. So like from my view, and I know how this is how these games work, but that's not a good defense. Like even if I started a new class, which I didn't, I want to like master my class, which is the druid. I enjoy playing like another build. That's totally fine. It's that I'm grinding for like the base ability points just so I can do the basic stuff.
Right.
Back, you don't have to play the campaign again, but you're just like, you're just doing the stuff you've already done to kind of get back to like, I just want to create some builds and get some legendary drops.
Yeah.
So I don't love that part of it, but after, 25 hours, that's when you start to get back to the point. You're like, oh, okay, now I can get back to the stuff.
That's a long time.
Isn't
That
it?
is,
Yeah.
that is a lot of hours. Yeah.
So I don't like that about these games and that model. I've said this before of like, I know it was odd that it came up in a game recently, like Redfall for me as a reminder, but there's like a lot of games that have classes. And I'm like, yo, once I do all that, I put in the time in Redfall and beat it because I just wanted to have that like in the bank so I could talk about Redfall like I am right now. But I'm like, I would actually have gone in and tried another class in Redfall. But I'm like, ain't no way I am going to play this game for 15 hours or 10 hours just to get some ability points back. So I'm like, if that is fun, if it is fun to try another class, why are you making me play this for like 20 hours? So I don't like that about the Diablo model.
I don't like that about any game.
Any game.
Yeah, like I don't like that about Destiny. I don't like that about Destiny 2. When they offer like a way to like promote my characters for paid money, I take it because I value my time more than that $10 it costs me to do that.
And and it's fun.
Yeah.
That's the point. If I've already done this, is it fun to do again? Who is checking that box saying, I love it, or it's really fun? Is it that? I feel like most people check the box. A lot of players, and I'm sure they're right now listening in the Diablo community, they're like, I don't care. It's fine. That's
12-year-olds on summer vacation. Love that it takes 25 hours.
So anyway, I don't know that it fits or how they would fix it. But as we move towards season 2, which should be in middle October, and this will never happen. But I'm like, I would be so happy if they were like, in addition to skipping the campaign, you can also skip through, get all your ability points, and skip to, honestly, just skip to level 50.
Yeah.
I know that sounds crazy, but like that's where the real grind begins. And I'm way more likely to play at that point.
Is there any kind of tutorial in the game that could just kind of be like, okay, just so you know, like you're switching to this new character, here's some basic like guiding light kind of things to do?
I feel like that's a choice. Like to me, that would be more of a warning of saying, well, if you would like to skip and, suddenly have all your ability points or whatever, just, be aware. And what I mean by that is like, you've already played the game. So like, I don't know that giving you one ability point at a time as much as a tutorial anyway, but it
Yeah.
does, it arguably does put you in a position where you're like, well, I'm starting to get the feel.
Yeah.
But to be honest, in a game like Diablo, I play on mouse and keyboard, but like I'm left click, right click, left click. And that's the beginning of the game, is like a lot of like left click, left click. You're just like clawing at an enemy or shooting like a single
Yeah.
bullet of something, and it's so slow until you get the synergy. And that's just, again, that's just the ability points. Then you got to start grinding for like, to get this cool thing, I need to get this drop. And again, I'm way more likely to play, and I don't like as well the idea that for a game to be successful, but I know they're trying to get you into the store, and like I understand there's a money making side of it, but it's like I don't need to play this for 100 hours to enjoy it. So just let me play it for by 25 to 50 hours maybe, and enjoy it my way.
Yeah.
Because I think I'll have way more fun if you just let me skip all that stuff. So
Even like a super accelerated rank up on your second character, or like a season pass character. Like it was
yeah,
like you got
that could be a
experience like
solution.
5 or 10 times faster than you did on your first.
Yeah, yeah, maybe that's a great. I didn't even think of that. That's like, to me, that's more of like a game solution thing of like, if they're like, well, it's not built that way that you just suddenly skip your points. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I haven't thought through the like why not to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So again, like on paper, I'm just like tick 50, all your points.
Yeah.
Then the first thing I'm gonna do is start grinding for legendary affixes and things that I really need, and that is already gonna take forever. But I can like really enjoy it. So yeah, it's
Right.
you know, it's almost like all you give me is like bread, water, and like, you know, the mints at the table, and you have me sitting there for like hours. And I'm like, give me, like, start me on some apps, give me a beer, like, give me the meal, man.
Yeah,
Like,
give
what
me
am I
that
waiting
steak.
for? Exactly. Like, let me enjoy it. And every day it's like that. You make me wait 2 hours for dinner, right? And I'm like, just let me eat.
Yeah. Just feeding you
So
apps all night.
exactly. But that being said, I really applaud them for having a free season. They added new powers, and I think that's really
Yep.
good. It is just that layer. They have a quest line. That's like, it's okay. It's nothing like big about it. It's literally like, go here and here on the map and talk to this dude. But then they have these powers dropping with these new enemies. So at
Is
least
there
they
a
have
little bit
like
of
these.
story?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Cool.
exactly it. So there's a story behind why these malignant hearts are dropping, and it fits into the lore, and so it's all free, and that's good. But again, like from a gameplay side, and I'm always way more hooked into that. You can't string me along with like a quest line. I personally don't get much enjoyment out of that. I'm there for the gameplay, and that is way off to the side. So.
Unless you're The Witcher 3, then you can string me along with the quest line.
Well, it's a little different. But yeah, so I'm still playing a lot of that. I also tried Pikmin, if you wanted to talk about that.
I do want to talk about Pikmin. Sell me on
Let's talk
Pikmin.
about
As
Pikmin.
a Pikmin noob, why should I check out Pikmin?
Yeah, we tried to sell you on it before, I think. So first of all, let me set up that I really only got to play Pikmin 4 for it was like 45 minutes to an hour. So just kind of got a little past the tutorial and all. That being said, I've played all the Pikmins. Actually reviewed the first Pikmin import from Japan. That's
Ooh,
there you go. Think
For
about
IGN?
that for a while, kids. Yeah.
go read that article.
And I probably gave it like a 9, maybe a high 8 or something. It's a solid game, and I would call Pikmin like, it's like a cute RTS. I always felt like they looked at StarCraft at the time, Command and Conquer, and they're like, yeah, it's pretty cool, like resource management, but like, that's kind of not what Nintendo does.
Yeah.
And Shigeru Miyamoto and the teams then kind of, I think, came together and were like, nah, this could be cool, but done in like a way more accessible way. So I would call it like a cute real-time strategy. And it really is. Yeah, when I start playing, I'm like, wow, it's a very slow 30 to 45 minutes of like setting up like these cute little characters. It's a lot of like dialogue, pick this thing up. Dialogue, go try this thing. And you
So
get
it's a
this little
Nintendo
like,
game.
yes, it's a Nintendo game. Good way to put it, Briar. They're very careful not to throw you in. And I read a quote from Miyamoto even saying that he thought maybe Pikmin didn't sell as much as other things because maybe it's too hard. Which, by the way, I don't think is true at all, because Zelda? Do you check that game sales? But anyway, so they really walk you into it, and it is a cute RTS. They start you off with a little doggo. You have a little dog friend who's going to help you out, which I think is really cute, adorable, in fact. So you kind of get hooked into the vibe, and then you're plucking these little Pikmin as you start to go along the way. But they are actual real-time strategy gameplay mechanics. So, right, you'll get 3 or 4 Pikmin to start. You go pick a flower. You feed it to the thingamajig that makes more Pikmin, and you start to go. You're like, I got red Pikmin coming in the door, and you're like, ooh, I got to put 5 of them on this. I'm gonna send the dog over there, and yeah, I mean, it's a real-time strategy, but it's cute, and it has me kind of snickering in the way that Nintendo games do if you've played them. Like, just that, like, very, like, goofy humor. Like, this isn't a spoiler, but as one example. So one thing that actually bothers me, but is still cute, is that, of course, the characters don't talk. They have, like, this weird, like, dirt, this weird, like, language, and it's always, I think, existed in Pikmin, so it's not like it's not a surprise. But anyway, they don't talk a lot, but in the dialogue, they teach you that you're part of this crew, and they say, you know, once you finish something correctly, you know, you sort of like say, copy that. And they give you the option to say that in chat. But they give you 2 options. So the next time it comes up, I, of course, didn't pick copy that. And they're like, hey, remember in these situations, you have to say copy that. So, like, it's such a goofy, I'm like, this
cute.
is,
I like that.
But it makes me laugh. And very few times in, like, I guess part of it is my fondness for Nintendo. But there's just something about the way they do it, because again, I am like dying to get into the gameplay, and I feel like sort of dragged through a lot of like tutorial on that, but it still made me laugh. And again, it's a cute RTS. So I would say once it gets going, for those wondering, you're like, that sounds like a little too simplistic for me. Once it gets going, I mean, it's a lot of resource management.
It's a lot. Yeah. Once you get going, it's not a super simple game. I think it's good it starts you off simple, and it starts you off usually with like only some colors of Pikmin, not all the colors
Yeah,
that do
just
all the
red.
different things, cuz they all have different colors do different things. So it is a lot to manage when you do get into it. So,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah,
take your time to fully understand it as you're learning.
Exactly. Yeah, and I haven't played enough to tell you what's new about it, but what I can say is it feels like a very polished Pikmin. Remember, these only come out every 10 years. So
Yeah.
I've said this in the
Been a long
past,
time.
but if you say, why doesn't Nintendo make more Pikmins? You need to make time. You got to go buy it at the very least. But it seems like it'll be a worthy buy if you're into it. Even if you buy it now and, you know, you put it on the back burner to play it here and there, I think, in fact, I would say it's the kind of game if I ended up on an airplane or a bus or in a car and I was like, oh, that's right, Pikmin, I would be totally down for that experience.
Yeah.
To kind of start plucking away at the game. So, yeah, it seems good so far. You should try it, Briar. I know that you
I think I'm gonna pick this one up, because I've always been Pikmin curious, but I've never delved into that.
Pikmin curious.
I'm Pikmin curious.
It's like an identity. You do you, man. Definitely check it out. You should. I mean,
It's
you
a
like
good game.
I like real-time strategy games too, and they don't make a lot of them anymore.
Yeah. They don't. Yeah, they really don't.
I think you'll enjoy the cleverness of it in that setting, because it's not like a hardcore. So many RTSs, right, are so just hardcore feeling. So it is
They're
kind of
so
refreshing.
Etsy.
They're so Xy. Yeah.
Whereas Pikmin is it's cute. It's whimsical. It's got the whimsical like magic to it that you don't get all the time.
And it'll make you laugh if you're into that cute side of things. But it definitely ramps up, like Watts was saying. It's not like it's just sort of a cute, simple game the whole way through. It starts to you get that RTS stress for sure. You're like, I gotta get these over here. Oh no, they're already back to base, because like you're putting that pressure on yourself. And then the days, by the way, end, and you need to get as much as done before nighttime.
Yes.
Because that's when the creatures come out and start eating all your Pikmin. And yeah, they'll kill them.
They eat Pikmin. There's death in this game.
Yeah,
pretty hardcore,
they have these
actually.
cute little ghosts that come out, and they have like death sounds. It's amazing. Yeah, they can drown.
You just cost me $180, because I just put
180.
I just put Pikmin in my cart, and it recommended Super Mario Brothers Wonder and Super Mario RPG. So I also put those into my cart.
Hey man, you're making the right choice. But remember, if you have Nintendo Online, to double check about the voucher.
The
If you
voucher.
haven't used vouchers before.
I
Yeah,
haven't used
so
vouchers.
Nintendo vouchers, as long as you have, and I don't know if they have vouchers available for purchase right now, but as long as you're going to have Nintendo Online while you use the voucher,
Mm-hmm.
it's like $100 for 2 games, I think.
Oh, but you got to buy it digitally, I'm sure.
Got to
right?
buy it. Yeah, it is digital only. I'm pretty sure.
Briar don't do that.
Briar's physical.
I do
forgot.
digital. I buy digital games.
He's a
Well,
Pikmin
honestly,
curious,
Briar's the
physical
winning
only type
party
guy.
these days because like media is disappearing everywhere. So having it physically is smart.
It is. Dude, I
Yeah,
respect it. Like I said, if I had the space and the patience for that, I would buy everything digital. But even on like putting in a cartridge, I'm like, it seems like a lot of work.
I will admit to having multiple consoles around the house that are the same. I haven't bought a second PlayStation yet, but I do have multiple Switch. I think we have 5 Switches now, which is kind of crazy.
That's a lot.
But we had 2 PlayStation 4s for the life of the PlayStation 4, one for the up in the office and one for down in the living room.
We have we have a lot of PS4s.
Yeah.
Anybody see?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, you see that Spider-Man 2 special edition?
That one looks
No.
very cool.
What's up with that?
PlayStation
Yeah.
5?
Mhm.
Ooh,
Oh, it's a special
Briar.
edition PlayStation 5?
Yeah.
All right, I gotta
Yep.
look this up.
Spider-Man.
It
It's
looks
all
really
like
cool.
I wonder if they're gonna do a Venom one though. Because this
Ooh,
one,
a
I
Venom
believe,
one would
is
be dope.
oh, it would be incredible. But this one is all like blue and red. I think they're reserving that option for later. So I get why they have only done that, but it's beautiful looking. And the controller as well is customized. Oh no, wait, does it have a Venom side to it? Actually,
it does.
does.
It
I
looks
take it
like
back.
Venom is
It is
kind of
both.
like encroaching
I
into
forgot, yeah,
the
the
red of
Venom-
the Spider-Man.
Yeah, it is. You're right. I stand corrected. It's
I like the
black-
controller better than I think I like the console.
Okay, that's fair. I just think it looks better than the standard one by a mile. So.
I like the standard one. I think it looks good. I like the white
The Final
popped up
Fantasy
collar.
16 one looked really cool, but
Oh,
they
I
were
didn't
just
see
selling
that
the
one.
plates. They were black, and then they had the Phoenix and Ifrit on the side in gold. I think that looks really cool.
You know how old I am? I always want to spell fantasy PH. Because of Fantasy
Like
Star.
Fantasy Star Online.
Fantasy Star.
Dude,
Yeah.
what a banger of a franchise that is.
Fantasy, what is it? 16 PlayStation?
Briars.
16
Do you own one of
PlayStation.
the GameCube keyboard controllers from back in the day?
No, but I do own the Dreamcast keyboard.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh
Yeah.
wow!
And that's original from
That
when
was-
I owned the. I bought it when it was new because that was my first eBay browsing device. My first ever purchase on eBay was
Oh,
from a
wow.
Dreamcast because I didn't own a
That's-
computer at the time.
That's amazing.
Dude, it
Oh,
might sound
yeah.
crazy, but in addition to the hype around Dreamcast, I ended up really, really being pushed over the edge by wanting to play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2,
Yep.
I believe. It's 1 or 2, but through the VGA connection. I think it was VGA.
Yeah.
It's just for like, I was like, this does like sharper looking, like, and then I did, and I was like, it looked so good. It was
looks
so sharp
real
at
good.
the time.
Yeah.
And I think it ran at 60 frames or something.
I think
as
it did,
well.
yeah.
It's crazy. Soul Calibur did.
Yeah. Soul Calibur looked
looked
outstanding.
just- I mean, it was like almost arcade perfect, as they used to say back.
Do
in
you
the day.
remember the commercials for? I think it was NFL 2K. It looked like
Yeah.
real football. Like it looked.
Yeah.
It looked like I was just watching video of the
Those
NFL.
shiny helmets at the time. It's funny that going back to the era of shiny helmets that
Yeah.
might reflect something from the stadium was like this sign of superior technology. And like Madden,
Yeah.
I remember
yeah.
going to like Madden previews events, and they're like, so there's like we have 3 light reflections on the helmet. And like that was like a real like graphical. It's super important that you understand what's happening with the reflections on the helmet.
Yeah, that console was impressive. Sad story though.
Yeah. Yep. It had all the hype. It just didn't have the software support in the end. It could not compete.
So I
With Sony.
kind of want these this PlayStation 5 Final Fantasy 16 covers, but they're going
Yeah.
for like $300 on eBay.
I think it's because they were Japan exclusive.
Yeah.
So anyone that has them.
Oh,
Got
this is for
them.
the cover and the controller. There's a controller. too.
Oh, that's not bad then. For both. Hey, listen, I paid $300 for a controller all the time.
That's true.
Not all the time, but I do. But I have. I have. have to know.
Do you guys have the PlayStation 5 Elite controller? Is that what it's called? It's not, right? PlayStation
wish
5
I
Elite.
did.
Tomo got one to
Yeah.
try it out. I haven't tried it yet. I haven't had time with it yet.
Okay.
It seems good though. Like feel wise, it feels good.
DualSense Edge. You're right. That's
It's
what it is.
$200, right? Not $300.
I'm looking at it right now.
I think
the
it's
Edge.
200.
They should have called it the PlayStation 5 X controller.
They could have
would've been
should have
cooler.
called it the
X.
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 The XG.
Yeah, it's $200.
It's like an X but edgier.
Yeah, exactly.
X.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
200
I really
for
want
a
it.
DualSense, and then plus plates 300 might make sense. I don't know for a limited edition, but
Yeah.
obviously it's not a DualSense Edge controller.
And I think support on PC varies, and I say that because I got really excited, even though I don't own it. But I was like, I saw Diablo added DualSense Edge support
Oh, interesting.
to it. I assume that's through the BNet app, but anyway, yeah,
Does
it's
Steam not support it yet?
I don't have one.
You know,
so
the only thing I ever use the paddles on the back of controllers for is for first-person shooters, like to jump in melee and all that. I
Yeah.
don't think I'd use it in Diablo. Maybe I would to like set up macros.
You would.
Yeah.
Well, there's 4 of. I mean, there's like what is it? 6 on your bar. 6 abilities that you can mix and match. I could see you being like, actually, I really want to put that right there. You know, it seems perfect for a game like Diablo.
Okay.
Less so, yeah, like you're saying, for other stuff that's more straightforward.
I give them disabled for most games. It's just like first-person shooters.
Yeah. But it's more than that too. I mean, I think it's just better quality analog, right? You can adjust those sticks, right? Yeah, what they got changeable stick caps.
Dick caps?
Nice.
So the way your thumb feels on, is that what that is? Yeah.
They
you
sell
can do
those
the
at the 7-Eleven down the street.
They sell that at the
Changeable dick caps.
X.com, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Let's hope it also. I don't know if it has a better charge than the original, but I would hope it has better battery. But
I'm surprised nobody's come out with a third party like bigger battery for that. Because that battery is
Dude,
terrible.
you wear it on your head. It's a helmet.
It's
battery.
like the
You
Apple
plug it in.
VR thing. You got a battery that goes on your hip. You put it in your
Yeah.
pocket. It just sits there and gets hot.
Yes.
Which may be a feature, depending on what you're
Perfect
into.
in
I
the
don't know.
wintertime, man.
You know, I'm not judging.
Oh,
Put it next to your dick cap.
Dick cap.
oh. Well, what else is going on? Any other hands-on we need to talk about or big game news?
I don't think so. Was there any big
I don't
gaming
think
news?
so.
I didn't see anything big. I was
I
kind of
mean-
browsing around.
I give you the quick lowdown of what I had noticed over the last week, which was Call of Duty 2023. They did tweet out about confirming effectively, yes, Call of Duty's coming this year, because they said, when should the reveal be? Sort of jokingly on Twitter.
Mhm.
They also had it in their earnings report saying that it's on track for Q4 release. There's that new Spider-Man 2 cinematic trailer. Go watch it. It's incredible. Insomniac
game
just,
looks
it
really
looks
nice.
like a movie, man. It looks so good. And a bunch of stuff about Venom and Harry Osborn in the trailer and all this stuff. There was that. And then Star Wars Outlaws, believe it or not, came to Comic-Con, did a panel,
Oh, really?
talked about more. Yeah, there
Oh,
maybe
very cool.
there was a tease about learning like alien concoctions food wise.
Oh, like
and
the
so
blue milk?
people are yes. Exactly. So maybe you can learn how to make blue milk and it'll be like a recipe. So there was teases like that, but they actually had new concept art and gameplay that they were showing. So that game, it sounds like maybe it is on track for 2024. It's pretty bold to announce it, say it's coming out in 2024, and then show it at Comic-Con. And if it doesn't come out in 2024, that's just going to make things harder. So that was the most of it. Overwatch 2 is coming to Steam. And
Okay.
yeah, that's coming August 10th, I think. And then I saw Tencent, this news just popped this morning, is buying or did buy the Dying Light dev Techland. So Tencent
Oh, okay.
owns more of everything.
Dying Light 2 didn't do as well as they had hoped, right?
Maybe not. The game seemed pretty solid from what I played, though.
Yeah, I heard it was pretty solid. It just didn't. I don't think it performed that well, like for whatever reason.
Must have performed well enough to get them bought.
Okay.
No, I don't know. I don't know if that. It probably was already in the works, right? But yeah, Tencent owns a lot of stuff and is invested in a lot of stuff.
Sure.
I'm gonna quickly switch over to 2 movies that I wanted to talk about. So it's just SideQuest. It's side, side to gaming. But I watched a movie
Side
last
film.
night that I was completely shocked about. It's called They Cloned Tyrone. Have you guys heard of this?
No.
I think it's on Netflix. I'm pretty sure it was made by
Tyrone.
Netflix. They Cloned Tyrone. And it stars John Boyega, who was Finn in the Star Wars movies, the newer Star Wars movies, Jamie Foxx and Teona Harris. And,
Nice.
it's kind of this like sci-fi. Oh, imagine kind of like X-Files, except instead of like Agent Mulder and Scully, you got like a drug dealer, a pimp, and a hoe. It's like, and it's just funny, and it's I think it's really good natured, and like everybody's just it's a fun movie to watch, and I'd highly recommend it. Definitely check this out. And then I watched Bird Box Barcelona. Did you guys see the original Bird Box?
Bird Box?
Yeah, Bird Box was
Bird
the
Box,
one
yeah.
with what's her name?
No.
Sandra Bullock.
Thank you, Sandra Bullock. Where everybody's got to wear blindfolds because there's like beings that make you
Yes.
crazy and commit suicide.
Oh yeah, John Malkovich in that.
Yeah, so they made a sequel, but it's set in Barcelona, and it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. Bird Box Barcelona.
I've heard that it's better than the original one. Like,
That's
people have been
interesting.
saying that, yeah, it's better. So
I really enjoyed it because it's got a different viewpoint for sure, and explains a little bit more about what's going on in that world. I really liked it. It is in Spanish, but you can watch it. They do have subtitles, and they have a dub if you want to watch the dub. But it's a pretty movie too. It's oddly kind of, I don't know. Both of those were pretty good.
Never
I think they're
saw it.
both on Netflix.
I'm so behind on movies. I'll never see that until I'm like hopefully retired someday. But it's gonna be great. I'm gonna have so much to watch.
So you don't watch any movies?
Not lately.
No.
It's a lot of gaming and like if I see a
Yeah,
movie,
we
it would
don't.
hopefully be like Oppenheimer in the theater kind of thing.
No.
So
Are you gonna do the
that type of
Oppenheimer
situation.
Barbie double feature?
I don't have time for that. I'll probably end up seeing Barbie at home at some point. But even then, I'm so behind. But I do watch serial, TV stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm watching The Foundation right now. That came back season 2.
I'm gonna wait. I think we're gonna wait till the season's over so I can binge watch it. But I'm really looking forward to
Pretty
that.
solid so far.
Yeah, I bet. I like the first season quite a bit. Yeah, They Cloned Tyrone though. Very surprising, very fun. I'd highly
Nice.
recommend it, and filled with good
Nice.
acting.
yeah, it
Nice.
sounds up my alley.
Should we wrap it up?
I think so.
All right, guys. Thank you all for
Wrap
joining
up
us.
your dick cap.
Yeah, wrap up. Wrap up your dick cap.
Always be safe about
Yeah,
that.
new title. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next week. Bye. Oh, don't
Bye.
forget, we'll be doing the
Oh yes,
GCX charity
GCX
stream on Thursday night,
charity marathon.
8
Our
p.m.
slot
Eastern.
is Thursday, which is 5 p.m. Pacific. So we're gonna be going for 4 hours. We got a really good peoples with us,
Yeah.
and we've got some pretty fun things.
Yeah.
So there won't be a regular DCP show on Thursday. It will be replaced by the charity stream.
Yeah,
So
I'm sure we'll post
we
it
will
on
make
YouTube,
sure to
but
host.
not on.
Yeah.
It won't be a audio kind of thing, so we won't do it on the
Yeah.
regular feed. Thanks, guys. Bye. We'll see you
kids.
next week.
Bye.